Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician, and today we're going to be going into something new, and that is Napa's Carlyle brand. So at the end of 2024, they started to release some info to specific people that a new line was coming. And if you look at like Carlyle Tools Instagram, you can see new items coming. And so if you guys follow the channel, you guys might know that I was on Ron Capps' funny car team for about 5 years as a mechanic, and our biggest sponsor, Napa, we used a lot of Carlyle tools. So I grew to really enjoy Carlyle tools, and I own a few Carlyle tools here at home. Well, it's actually a coincidence that I came across this because I was doing research for another video I'm working on, and I was getting links for some other ratchets, and some of them being the Carlyle ones. And I was doing a little bit of research, and I just came across this new ratchet, and it said Carlyle on the handle. I was like, that doesn't look like what I'm used to. So I started digging into it and found out that I didn't find out from the race team or when I go into Napa. I just found out by coming across this. And they've been in the works or starting to announce it around the end of 2024, and now the beginning of 2025, we're working, into the first few months of 2025. We're actually starting to see some of these new tools roll into the Napa stores. Now, I'm going to be going over this new Carlyle Comfort Grip Flex Head ratchet. They do have many other ratchets available. They still have some of their previous design and non-comfort previous design, but they're also redoing a lot of the Carlyle lineup. So their new color scheme is green and black. So you'll start seeing some of those. I found when I went to the Carlyle store, a jack of the new design, a few oil filter wrenches. There were a couple pairs of pliers, some scrapers, and all of that in the new green and black design. The ratchet was really what caught my eye online, so I went in store to see if they had any. They had a very limited selection, just a couple, but they are starting to work their way in. And so I went ahead and ordered the one that I wanted because they didn't have the one that I wanted. So I went ahead and ordered it. It came in the next morning. And so we're gonna go over that. But these ratchets are a completely new design. I don't know if they're all a completely new design because they have a ton of different options, but I know a majority of them are from the previous design comfort grips. So we'll go over that, but some of their other lineup, oil filter wrenches, things like that, I don't know necessarily if those are like a change in manufacturer or if some things are staying the same and they're just doing the green and black packaging, and then if they're a comfort grip or if they have some sort of material on it that can be the black and green, if that will just change, but not necessarily the manufacturing design or overall tool. But I do know some things are completely changing, so there might be a mix of both the old stuff with new labeling and new packaging, and then there are going to be items that are just completely new to the lineup. So I'm going to stay tuned on the Carlyle Instagram and basically anywhere I can, because when I found out about these, I couldn't find anything online as far as reviews or anything. Napa or Carlyle is still just doing teaser pictures and teaser videos, not necessarily actually releasing what their new lineup is or what it's going to consist of. I do know they're going to have like socket sets and wrenches and stuff in EVA foam trays, the black and green. So there are a lot of big changes coming, and I think it's going to be really interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it down in the comment. They also have a new logo, which I don't know exactly what it is. I tried to find some other logo images to see which one it mostly looked like, but let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. And if you guys enjoy, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And as always, if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into this. So here we're looking at the new Carlyle ratchet, and we're going to be comparing it to some of the other ones that I have, some of the old 60 tooth, one of the new 90 tooths. I do have a 1/2 inch drive, but I don't have it here, so unfortunately I can't compare it to it. But we're going to compare it to that, and then we'll go over the thicknesses compared to some of my other ratchets that I have in the 3/8 drive as well. Then I'm going to try and share some information with you as far as like Napa, Ball Camp, and the manufacturer of this ratchet. As much as I could find, it's very limited, but we'll get into that. So let's just go ahead and start with the details on this. So this is their new logo that they have going on. I'll post up some pictures. I don't know where it comes from, what it's supposed to signify, if it's just something that they chose to go with. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it looks cool. I'm not sure what it has to do with Carlyle, but it's cool. And then the new green and black handle, which I'm really liking. The first thing I did notice is they've removed the Napa logo from the handle. And then the non-quick release ones went from having just a smooth face to having that logo. The backing plate has also changed. Now, I will say this. Carlyle has had these ratchets as well as a modified version of this ratchet, or an updated version of these ratchets with the comfort grip and this design from, I believe, this company, because I'll try and put up some pictures. Carlyle had these ratchets with this reverse switch and this handle and shape and everything, as well as the different backing plate. And then they also have this same ratchet with this comfort grip with this style backing plate and this style reverse switch. So I think before they fully started to release these, they had transitioned from the original, like this design, to a design very similar to this, to now fully switching to this. If hopefully that makes sense. I have pictures of kind of the transition over time, and these are all 90 tooth, except for these are some of their older or more, they're an older ratchet, but they still have them available. And they also have these available. Maybe they're more of this design though, the updated version of it. They still have all of that available, but I think they are fully phasing these out. A lot of them are going on sale as these come in to the Napa stores. So just something to keep in mind. But an overall look at it, the comfort grip handles do seem to have stayed the same. There's a little bit of shape difference up in the top. It's hard to tell on this 1/4 inch drive just because of how small it is. But I believe there's a little bit of shape difference, but it's still, I believe, the same handle, the same comfort grip, but I like the color combo. I'm digging it. And then the ratchet itself is completely different from the other design, or the previous design, as far as reverse switch, backing plate, logo. This is a free floating flex head. And I believe all of them that I've seen so far are non-quick release. I don't think they have any quick releases available. They have the like roto head ratchets and stuff like that. But as far as your standard design ratchet, I believe they're all non-quick release. The shape of the shaft where it meets the comfort grip, it's got more of a bubbled base to it over some of the older ones where it just kind of tapers down into the handle. So there's just a little bit of a difference. I do like the backing plate over the older design that I think they got away from, where it uses a snap ring to lock it in place, which I've always enjoyed the Carlyle ratchets, whether it's the 60 tooth, which yes, it's a smaller tooth count, but there's very little back drag and they are very smooth. I've always enjoyed them, and the 90 tooths have been fantastic as well. This is still a 90 tooth. It is extremely smooth and very low back drag. It definitely feels well lubricated, but we'll see once we tear it down. I literally just got this morning. I ordered it yesterday. So we're gonna tear it down and see. But overall, I'm really liking the new design. So it does have that 4-degree arc swing. This particular one was one of the cheapest ones I could get my hands on because I already have 40 ratchets and couldn't really justify one of their bigger, more expensive ones. But we'll get into pricing here in a little bit. I like that this is flex head. It's only a 9.5 inch 3/8 drive, so shorter than a lot of my other 3/8 drive ratchets, same as the gear wrench here. So it's just your standard size, but it is a flex head. And then they do have a long handle version, a bent handle, and a standard non-flex head. I don't know if they've released any of the locking flex heads yet. I do like the reverse switch design, kind of the design that they went with. The chrome looks nice, it's clean. There's a little bit of chrome here that's not polished fully out along this cut line and right at the base right here. But overall, it's a nice clean chrome job and it feels great. Now, one thing I will say is it is a little bit thicker than all of my other 3/8 drive ratchets. It's not a low profile design.
if that's something you look for, this is definitely not one of the smallest 3/8 drive profiles out there. So just getting into it real quick, I'll show you it compared to some of my others. So the gear wrench comes in at roughly 477 thousandths. The Tecton comes in at right at 1/2 inch. The Capri comes in at 552 thousandths, and the Snap-on comes in at 568 thousandths. And the Snap-on is probably my thickest ratchet that I have, at least in 3/8 drive. Now, this guy is pretty big difference at basically 600 thousandths of an inch. So a little bit thicker than all of my other 3/8s, but when you have a variety like this, not every situation requires a super low profile. And a lot of times, you know, that 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, you know, isn't gonna make a huge difference. And it feels really good. They are thicker than the previous version of the Carlyle 90 tooth ratchets, and a little bit thicker than basically all of my other 3/8 drive ratchets. One thing that I like, new color combo I really like. The reverse switch, I really like the design on it. The logo, now that's one I tried to do some research on, trying to figure out what exactly it is. Please let me know your guys' thoughts. I found pictures of pumas and cougars and the Hellcat logo and a panther, and I was trying to see which one where people create their own kind of outline logo. I tried to find as many of those as possible and figure out which one it was closest to. The guy at the Napa store said when he first saw the jack that his first thought was it looks like the Hellcat logo, and I can see where it does, but I also see where it's more similar to some of the other ones out there. And so I just tried to find as many Wildcat logos as possible to figure out which one it is. I honestly don't know. So, and they don't state anywhere, you know, Panther logo, you know, this isn't their Carlyle Panther lineup. I don't know what the logo is, what it has to do with, but I mean, it's cool. Once again, the backing plate I'm a fan of. I like the free floating design. I like to have a variation of locking flex heads, semi-locking flex heads, and free floating flex heads. And it just feels all around really well built. But I will say it is a spendy ratchet for one that's not made in the USA. And even the Carlyle ratchets before, if you didn't catch them on sale or during a deal going on, they can also be quite expensive. And be posting pictures up in here of the new and the old design ratchets, so you guys can see the prices and the different ones, some of the different ones that they have available. But they're not cheap. They're kind of in between higher end store brands and the tool truck brand. So like they have a 25-inch half-inch drive ratchet that comes in at $288. The Matco equivalent is $320 to $350 compared to that ratchet. But like I have the Capri extra long locking half-inch drive, 25 inches, and it comes in at $80. So unfortunately, the drawback to the Carlyle lineup is they're playing a funny hand. I don't know how else to put it. They're not in a good spot with it. I think they're making a really good transition to a really cool lineup of tools, but I think they're definitely going to have to work on pricing if they want these to be popular. While I love Carlyle tools, I've used a lot of them. I really enjoy their ratchets, very low back drag, very smooth. That price point is just going to push a lot of customers away though. A lot of people aren't going into auto parts stores to buy tool truck price tools. So they're gonna have to work on pricing. Other than that, you're gonna have to catch it on a deal or a sale of some sort in order to, you know, really get your money's worth. Because this is the cheapest one, and I think without my discount, it's $78. So it's their cheapest one. Even their 1/4-inch drive was something like $113. They are spendy for a ratchet that's made in Taiwan, where the Matco one that comes in for the half-inch drive that I was talking about, it's made in the USA at $320 to $350. This one, $80, made in Taiwan. I am okay with this. Is a killer deal. The fact that this costs the same as this just doesn't make sense to me. So they definitely have some work to do on the pricing. So let's go ahead and tear this thing down. I'm gonna get these out of the way. And if you guys want to see a future video of this ratchet compared to any of my other ratchets, or if you guys believe this looks very familiar to possibly another design, let me know. and maybe I'll look into it and breaking both of those down to see how they compare. But as far as I can tell, this doesn't really remind me of something that would be exactly the same that I can think of offhand. So the backing plate screws for this one are on the face of the ratchet. So it is very well lubricated. There is an O-ring. It's not on the backing plate. It is on the base there. So there you can see inside the ratchet, the reverse mechanism. Not sure how focused it is, but machining seems nice and lubricated. The pawl does state 3/8 and 90 tooth. Has a MW on it. Nice fine teeth and a lot of them. So definitely a lot of engagement on this main gear. You kind of see there's some rings cut into the back. There's a rubber inner seal here as well. Overall, it seems really clean. I like that it's sealed and sealed well. So it definitely really well lubricated, really smooth, very low back drag, really good design. Now, it does state, whereas the Carlyle, the manufacturer, for these, it just states Carlyle. For these, when you look at them online, I'll post up some pictures, it does state ASG as the manufacturer. So I don't know if that's ASG Jurgens. That's the only company that I could really find that has to do with tooling, and they deal with a lot of torque wrenches, whereas they don't really have any ratchets available. So I'm not sure if that's the company that is the manufacturer for these, or if there's a different ASG that I don't know about, maybe overseas. I don't know, honestly. I couldn't find anything else on ASG Tooling Company. I don't know if these changes to the Carlyle lineup are due to the changes in primary ownership by Genuine Parts Company that happened in April or mid 2024, where they bought out one of the biggest owners of Napa, or if it's just, something that Napa's been planning for a while. So usually Ball Camp deals with a lot of the manufacturing and the manufacturing companies and the distribution of Napa parts. I don't know if ASG is one of the new manufacturers for Ball Camp or if it's its own separate thing. Honestly, it's hard to say because info that you find online is very limited and it's contradicting. When I look up one thing, it says Ball Camp doesn't manufacture Carlyle tools anymore. They don't have to do with the Carlyle manufacturing. One says it still does. It's very contradicting. So I don't know if ASG is its own separate contract manufacturer, or if Ball Camp, is using ASG. I don't know, what's going on there. But either way, it's their new lineup. It's not just with the ratchets. It's going to be with basically the entire Carlyle lineup. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this. If you guys want to see a comparison video of this ratchet compared to any of my others, or one that you may think is very similar, please let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do that. Overall, I think it's an awesome ratchet. It's going to be a great addition to my lineup. I'm going to throw this one in the work truck and see how it does out in the field. The downside being these are coming at a cost. I mean, not that the Carlyle stuff before wasn't at a higher cost unless you got it on a deal, but now you're really going to have to, if you want your money's worth, wait for those deals or a big sale of some sort, because some of these are just overpriced for what they are. But I think it is going to be an awesome lineup to the Napa store. So go ahead and check out your Napa if you guys are interested. Maybe they have more stuff out there. They only had a few, maybe 10 things in the store that were of this new design. So that is it as far as the new Carlyle Panther, Hellcat, Cougar, Mountain Lion logo stuff. And I'm digging it. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.